Is it too late to finally go after your dreams? Well, that was the same exact question that I asked myself when I was 47 years old. And the answer is no. In this video, I am going to be sharing my whole story. How I became a working actor, how I overcame fear, redefined my personal brand, and built lasting industry connections. Plus, how you can apply these things to your journey too, no matter where you're starting from. And make sure you stick with me till the end, because I'm going to share the exact strategy I used to go from getting boring, one-dimensional, under 5 characters to 3-dimensional characters in high-caliber things like Netflix and Hallmark and Occupant Film and A24. So stay with me till the end. By the way, my name is Anne, and to date I've helped 517 actors in 13 different countries to get control over their careers. So if that sounds like something that's good for you, make sure you hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the tips and tricks that I share weekly in these videos. Like a lot of people, I put my dreams on hold for a long time to take care of my family. I always thought someday I'd get back into it. But when that day finally came, I started to question if it was even possible anymore. And I don't know, maybe you can relate to this. I heard things like, it's too late for you, or you're too old. One of my favorites. You're too foreign. You don't even have a current showreel material. And I don't know, maybe some of these things were true, but maybe they were also just limiting beliefs by those other people that they were putting onto me. Because here's what I learned. Age, it doesn't really matter. What matters is how you see things. It's all about your mindset. Mindset is like 80% of everything. The other 20%, that's just mechanics and mentorship. Because the moment that I realized that what I needed to change first was my mindset, that's when everything else started to change. First, we have to get rid of those limiting beliefs. Because it's not about waiting for the perfect time or being ready. It's about starting with imperfect action, because imperfect action is always better than no action at all. So let's talk about the first step to overcoming these obstacles. For me, one of the very first challenges was finding the right training, because I had taken a 16-year hiatus, so I was super rusty. I needed to get my skills and, more importantly, my confidence in my skills back up and running again. But because I'm based in Munich, I was having some trouble finding the caliber of acting coaches that I wanted, who also taught in English, with actors who also weren't starting from scratch. I was in a weird kind of a limbo position, or so I thought. I had to figure out how to make it work in a way that was affordable for me, not only financially, but time-wise as well, because I am still a mom and wife. So what I figured out how to do was get those top-notch coaches that I wanted to coach with over to me here in Munich. And I was able to get free training, build a community of actors who were on the same kind of journey that I was on, and earn like $1,000 to $2,000 per month. And if you want to know how I did that, then make sure to check out this video up here. Now, I'm not saying it was easy, but it was a simple step-by-step process. As are most challenges, we just have to break them down to their simplest component and ask yourself, honestly, what is the first problem? Because sometimes we look at the mountain and we don't just see the mountain, we see the entire range of the Alps behind it. And honestly, you just need to take that first step and climb that first mountain 1 foot in front of the other. And if I can do it, you can do it too. The key is in realizing that the obstacle always holds the solution within its core. We just have to ask ourselves the right questions. For me, the real challenge wasn't necessarily what other people were thinking about me. It was that I was choosing to let some of their doubts affect my own confidence and my own conviction about whether or not this was the correct path for me. In other words, it was all about limiting beliefs and finding a way to get rid of them. So I have a really simple and effective method to do that. It's catch, cancel, correct. you first have to become aware of those limiting beliefs. So as they come up for you, make a list of them on a piece of paper. And then the next thing you want to do is ask yourself, are these serving me? Does it serve me to believe that I'm too old to join this industry when that's what I want to do? Well, the answer is no, it doesn't serve me. In fact, it makes me feel less confident. So it's actually doing just the opposite. It's not only not serving me, it is doing me a disservice. Then you want to correct that thought. So one thing I always challenge my clients to do is play the devil's advocate. Do you remember being on debate team in high school where no matter what you believed, you had to sometimes argue for the other side? Well, that's what I encourage you to do in situations like this, because beliefs are just that. So what I want you to do is challenge those beliefs, especially the ones that aren't serving you, and look for the evidence of the opposite. So for example, if you think that you are too old, well, look at actors like Connie Britton or Peter Dinklage or Viola Davis, who are all actors who not only got their start a little bit later in life, but they also got their big breaks much later in life. So you're in very good company. I want you to also know that all of that life experience that you bring to the table, baby, that is valuable stuff. You understand the nuances of complex emotions and relationships, which you can really bring to all of your work, all of your characters. And you probably have a lot of other life experiences. Like maybe you've had another job, maybe you've been a doctor, maybe you've been a lawyer, maybe you've been a truck driver. It doesn't really matter. All of these things bring authenticity to the kinds of roles that you will be a perfect fit for. And I also want to remind you that I know it's scary to sometimes step out of our comfort zones, but that fear is telling you that you are growing and evolving. It is not telling you to stop. So embrace that fear and know that it is part of the journey. And as Marie Forleo says, face everything and rise. Fear is just an acronym for that. So if you agree with that, say rise in the comments and let me know. Now that we've cleared away some of those limiting beliefs, we need to move on to the tools that you are going to need to get your career up and running. These are the things that are going to help you to stand out and to show the industry and everybody in it that you are ready to start taking on those roles that you know in your heart you're ready for. Nobody's going to take your word for it. You have to show them. You'll need a headshot and some form of how you act. So if you've been in some decent films, television series, and you've got good clips of yourself showing you speaking and reacting and feeling and thinking, those are great. Definitely include those into your showreel. If you don't have high caliber work, then that's okay. Because luckily for you, the self-tape is the universal language in our industry. Everybody understands that a well-made, on-brand self-tape is just as valuable for displaying your castability. And then you're going to need to get yourself onto the different casting portals. Now, this is going to depend wherever you are located. If you're in America, that's going to be Actors Access, Casting Networks. If you're in the UK or Europe, it's probably Spotlight. The rest of Europe also uses eTalenta, filmmakers. Get yourself on those casting portals for sure, because that's where the casting directors go to look for people. But if you don't want to be conformed into their little cookie cutter profiles, then what I also recommend is that you put together an electronic pitch kit. Because what this does is it enables you to show the industry so much more than a list of credits. It enables you to show them where you are capable of going. All the things that they can't just see by looking you up on IMDb or Actors Access. Your headshots need to be representative of you where you are right now. They do not need to be beauty shots. They do not need to show you in your best light. They just need to show you as you authentically are when you walk into a room on a normal day. Save the beauty shots for your wall and use the shots that are going to get you booked. We don't want to catfish the casting directors. You want to make it as easy as possible for the casting directors to cast you for the roles that you are right for. And you got to do the work yourself to figure that out. What I also learned when I relaunched my acting career was that I am in the business of being an actor. I am not just an actor. You have to think of it like a bird with two wings. One wing is your talent, your skills, everything that you bring to the table, your life experiences, your unique perspective, how you look, how you move through the world, all of those things. But the other wing, this is all about the business of being an actor. And the other wing is comprised of what I call the 5 pillars of a thriving acting career. It's mindset, branding, marketing, networking, and community. And these all work together holistically. You can't just take one pillar away and only work on the other 4 because that will give you an unstable base. You need to first get your mindset in order, then work on your branding, and then the other 3 will fall into place. Because what branding does is acts like your true north. And it becomes the beacon that guides how your marketing looks, what it sounds like, and who you put your efforts into networking with. So most actors just concentrate on the fun stuff, their talent, their skills. But if you ignore the other wing, then you're just going to have a bird that flaps around in circles and never gets up and soars. And that's what I want for all of you. I want you to soar because this desire that you have, it is the universe telling you what your purpose is. You just need to embrace it, believe it, and step into it. So another thing that is going to make a huge difference in your career is if you understand that we as actors have to have 2 major skills. One is acting, duh, right? So you need to be the best actor that you can be. And that includes keeping up on your training and constantly working on your skills of being an actor. But the other thing is you have to get good at pitching yourself. Because think about it. Everything we do when we're not working or auditioning is about getting that next job. Whether that's querying an agent, querying a casting director, responding to a casting notice, even the conversations that we have around who we are. So there are 2 kinds of pitches. There's a hard pitch. That's when you are directly asking for something, as in sending a letter to an agent or a casting director. And then there's the soft pitch, and that's when you are planting seeds. So that's when you are letting people know what it is and what you do, but you're not being pushy about it and you're not asking for anything. This is how you want to start off in all of your professional friendships. In fact, you want to approach them with that in mind. You want to be thinking, I want to cultivate a professional friendship with someone because they align with my vision of where I want to go and because I really resonate with what they do. Now that second part is really, really important because everybody can tell if you're just flattering them to flatter them or if you are being sincere in your flattery. And while flattery is great, it's only part of the puzzle. So where do you find these people to network with? Well, you could look at your local film commission, see what's happening in your area. You can also look at local film clubs or Facebook groups in your area. And you can also look on IMDb, local film festivals. All of these places are great places to find the people who are just a few steps ahead of you. I mean, obviously, Steven Spielberg isn't going to respond to your emails, but maybe that director who has made a couple of independent films on their own and lives in your city, reach out to them, see their film, let them know what you liked about it, and ask them if you can make yourself useful in some way. Maybe not just as an actor, but you could say something like, I'm an actor, and I know you wrote that film that you just directed. So if you ever need an extra set of eyes on your script, I would love to read it for you and give you feedback. That's super valuable. These are the things that are going to make you stand out in a really crowded industry and separate you from the people who superficially may look and sound like you. But it's not enough just to show up. You have got to understand what it is that makes you unique. Now, your brand, I know this can be something that's very confusing to actors. Your brand is made up of 3 different parts because you have to know what sets you apart in order to pitch yourself properly. Because otherwise, it's just saying kind of the same things that everybody else is saying, which is, please consider me. I hope you'll keep me in mind. Boring. You want to be concise. You want to be clear. You want to be compelling. And you want to make them want you. And honestly, for me, figuring that out was the difference that I was talking about earlier. So what I realize is there are 3 components to an actor's brand. The first part is everything we've already mentioned. The second part is how you are perceived. This is how you're perceived by the industry at large and by people in general. And then the third part to take into consideration is how you've been cast or the kinds of auditions that you've been sent in the past. All of these things work together. You can think of it like a Venn diagram. And the more these circles overlap, these 3 circles, that overlapping part is your sweet spot. That is the area where you are going to be getting the roles that align with your true north, the roles that light you up, and the roles that are easier for you to get because it's how people are seeing you. Now, sometimes things happen, like people get typecast. This was definitely happening to me. I was getting typecast as the bitch in charge. And I get it. I'm a strong woman. I have sharp features. And, I can play that woman. But what they weren't seeing was all of my warmth, my maternal side, my humor, my playfulness, all of the other qualities that I really value in me that just weren't coming across in the materials that I was showing. So I really set about changing my branding to make sure that everything that I had, my show reels, my clips, my headshots, my profiles, my letters, my emails, my messaging everywhere was aligned with the brand that I wanted to have as an actor. And that's when I went from getting like small co-stars or small recurring roles and things to actually getting to audition for some really big films and getting leads in feature films and getting major supporting roles in studio pictures and TV series. So that was a big change for me, and I really encourage you to look at that for yourself. Information without implementation, it ain't nothing. You have got to take action. Because if you are an actor serious about getting to the next level in your career, then that's exactly what I help actors to do. To date, I've helped over 500 actors in 13 different countries to get the agent that they want, to get seen for the roles they want, and to frankly get more opportunities to better roles in general so that they have more control over their career, because nobody wants to feel like a leaf fluttering on the wind. So go ahead and book a free strategy call, and we'll talk about your challenges and your goals. And if I think I'm a good fit for you, then I will explain to you exactly how I can help you. And even if I don't think that we're a good fit, or you don't think that we're a good fit, I'm still going to give you a lot of clarity on the call about what your next steps might be. So you got nothing to lose. Until next time, you stay your bold and beautiful self. Bye-bye.